Well, welcome to What's Broken. So this little project's going to be kind of interesting. I've got some 11 gauge, which is just a little thinner than 1/8 inch. And it's 12 inches wide and about 9'5" long. And then I've got a chunk of 11 gauge that's 6 inches by 3 feet. A buddy of mine wants me to fab him up a little old backyard fire pit that's going to be 3 feet in diameter, circular, and then it'll have a strip of 6 inch around the back at the top, just kind of as a backsplash or whatever, reflector. So yeah, to begin with, I'm going to take my sanding disc and just clean up all the edges, get rid of all the sharp edges so I don't cut myself while I'm working on it. And then I'm going to weld these two pieces together because the 9'5" is what I need, give or take, to make a 3-foot diameter circle. And the fun part's going to be trying to roll it or bend it into a circle. Anyhow, I'll set you in the stand and start buffing the edges up. Just got one of those flapper discs on my mini grinder. Be a little noisy. Just cleaning up these edges because that's where I'll be welding to. I'll clean up this 6-inch piece. That looks like the factory edge. Yeah, maybe they both are. Looks pretty square. Now we got a bit of a gap up at the top here. They only have this in the this 11 gauge in 8-foot pieces, so that's why I have to put this extra weld in. I think I need a little more wire speed. try it on a higher setting. Just try welding a little faster. These little 110 volt buzz boxes, wire feed, not the prettiest weld, but if you take your time it'll do the job. I'll clean that up a bit and then go over it again. Okay, give her another pass. Yeah, I'm going to grind it up a bit, clean it up, and then flip it over and do the other side. Okay, I flipped it over. Now I'm going to start welding from the center out. Okay, well, the two pieces are joined. It's not the prettiest weld I've ever done, but I'll blame part of that on the machine. Anyhow. Next I need to try to figure out a form in order to wrap this around and bring it into a 3-foot circle. Okay, so the next step after getting this little 1.5 piece welded on is to try to form it into a circle or a diameter of 3 feet. So to do that, I scribed out on the bench about 35.5 inches, and I put some brackets in place, and then I built a couple of cross braces. So I'm going to have 8 points where this will sort of contact the metal, and hopefully end up as a circle. In order to do that, I'm going to put some ratchet straps around the ends and hopefully be able to pull it around. So for the next bit here, I'll probably shut the camera off until I get the straps on and get it partially bent, because I don't want to get preoccupied. It'll be under a fair amount of tension, and if something goes sideways, I don't think I want the incident captured on film or video. The jig I set up yesterday to wrap the fire pit metal around to make a 36-inch diameter pit, it didn't work. It was too much under tension, and the ends wouldn't bend when I got them close together. So I'm trying a bit of a different idea. Just got this clamped down to hold it, and then I spaced out a piece of hardwood drilled through the bench, put a couple of spacers in so I can slide the metal through, and the idea is that I'm going to, using these 2 big crescent wrenches, just try to put little bends in it every 3 to 4 inches. Nothing to crimp it, just to shape it. And then I cut a couple of 36-inch diameter templates out of cardboard. And hopefully as I bend this over the end, I should be able to get almost half of it out, and then I'll have to flip it over and bend the other half up or over this way, either up from this end or bring the curl around more until it meets. I did phone a couple of places to see if they could bend it or roll it. They were going to get back to me. It's been a couple hours, haven't heard from them, so I thought I'm going to give this a try. I mean, I could take it to a metal place and probably pay pretty good dollars to have it rolled, but what's the fun in that? It's starting to take a bit of form. Really the hardest part is these ends. If I can get them to meet and then get a bit of a curve to it, I'll use ratchet straps again to pull it together. Pretty much got the right curve up to there. I think I may turn the whole thing around, bend the other end, because like I say, these two places are fairly crucial to get it to match up. And if I can get the other end bent at the same radius, I may be able just to wrap it and bring those two ends together. Okay, I turned it around. I'm just going to work this other end a little bit. we'll feed a little bit more through. That's following the radius pretty closely, so I'm going to bring a bit more through and try to keep forming it. Now I'm just going to try to put a bit of a bend in it every foot or so. Not enough to deform it too much. Okay, it seems to be working. And I did have a straight edge, about a 4-foot straight edge here, screwed, that was square to this form or break, in order to keep the bends going perpendicular. You want to get a little more of a curve. Come on. In the first bit. Tighten this back up a bit. Got a little dent right in the middle. I think I'll take out. Yeah, I'd like to get this curved a wee bit more. It's like that weld was a little brittle. That's okay, I'll work this piece and then I can tack everything into place when I'm strapping it together. Well, I'll keep working this and I'll bring you back once I've got it a little more bent. Okay, now I'm getting a little inventive. The curve is okay about the first third on each side, but the middle still needs more radius. So see how this works. That actually overbent it by a little, so I'll let the tension off and see if it's about where I want it. Okay, after much banging and bending and a little bit of swearing and some hammering, it's roughly, the two ends are pretty much in the right radius. So right now I'm going to just tack weld this one piece together and then just double check everything. Watch your eyes. Looks pretty good. Make sure it's still yeah, it's still holding. Okay, got it welded up. As much as I'm going to do on that one for now, I may run another pass on it later. Now I'm going to try pulling it together and wrapping a strap around it. Yeah, I should be able to get a strap around it. And then I can tack weld up this last section. Okay. Tighten it up a little more. It's getting close. There's the other. Turned out pretty good. So I think I'll get a couple of tacks on it. I'll get a couple more tacks on the outside and the inside, and then I can take this strap off before I start melting it. I think I might tip it up on its end and get a couple of better tacks on. Okay, let's see if those welds hold. Well, I'll finish welding it up, and then I can bend up this 6-inch piece that he wants as a bit of a, it'll curve around as a bit of a backsplash, and then I'm going to do some, hopefully some ornamental lettering on it. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bend in the 6-inch piece. That's going to serve as a bit of a reflector, I guess. I've squared up the material, so this is quite a bit easier than bending a 12-inch piece. In fact, I may be getting a little too much of a curve in there. Nope. Well, that's pretty close all around. Now I'm going to take a minute and clean up all the welding spatter on these. Buff up the edge I'm going to weld to, and then I'll clamp it into place. Okay, well, I'm gonna start tacking that backer plate into place. Cleaned up all the edges. Try something a little new today. I don't know if you can quite see, but these are 2x lenses I picked up at Princess Auto for 10 bucks. I'm going to try a number 9 gold plated shield. Can't see as well as I used to, so I'm going to see if this improves being able to see the welds a little better. So I'll just bend this one into place and tack it as I go along. Well, I must say initially it seems like I can see a whole lot better. Probably mostly to do with the 2x magnifiers. But as well, the gold lens seems to make it a little brighter. That seems to be working okay. Well, I got half of it tacked. I'll start on the other side. Yeah, I'd say these magnifiers combined with the gold-plated number 9 seem to really help. Just slide a heavy plate underneath and then I'll be able to do a little hammering to get everything right where I want it. Okay, well, it'll take a few minutes and I'm just going to stitch weld this all up. I'll clean it up and then bring it back when we start doing the lettering. My buddy wants some ornate lettering along this top reflector section. So yeah, I'll weld this up and bring it back in a bit. So to make things a little easier, I'm going to do as much welding on the flat as possible. Just makes it simpler and makes a bit of a nicer weld. Do a little more. So 2 more little welds, and then I'll take the grinder and buffer and clean everything up, probably round these corners off. And then I can start trying to make some letters. I think the majority of this welding's done. I'm going to get it back up on the bench and start cleaning up some of these welds. That should be a good curve so nobody catches themselves on it. Okay, I'll try trimming off this corner now. Take away the sharp edges. And then I'll smooth those out with the flapper disc when I get around to that point. For now I'm going to put the grinding wheel on and take some of the rough stuff down. Okay, well I got all the welds ground down and buffed up. All the sharp edges are taken care of. So there shouldn't be any concerns with snagging yourself or cutting yourself. And next I'm going to start on the bending up the lettering. This is the back side of it. You know, not the best welds I ever did, but definitely not the worst. So, okay, so I already started bending up the letters. Then realized I didn't have the camera on. Imagine it's going to take me a few tries at this, because I've never done this before. If I can get the basic shape in, then I'm pretty sure I can, I'll fine tune it after. Using 3/16 rod. Right now I'm trying to make a C. It's getting close. I think what I'll do is weld the bottom of these two bolts together. That provides enough room. And then I can just pop it in and out of the vise as I need to. Okay, I welded those together. They're still steaming hot. But it'll prevent them from spreading. Now I'll start playing with the rest of the next letter. Well, as you can see, there's lots of tedious little work, so I'll bring you back once I get a few of these formed. Okay, so it's getting close. What my friend wants it to read is Shimmy's Braai, and Braai in South African means outside barbecue or outside fire for cooking. So I need to trim off the top of the M and probably the top of this I. And I may weld a little tail on the S when I'm done. I'm just not sure yet, or I may leave it. I'll get started on the Braai part, if that's the right pronunciation, and we'll see how it looks then. Okay, I put the nuts there just as the dots over the eyes to sort of give some perspective. But I'm going to try tack welding this up and see how well it works. Okay, well, all the bending and the tack welding or welding is done. I still need to make the 3 dots and grind them up a little bit, clean them up with a flapper disc or a grinder, and then figure out a way to mount them on the back part of the fire pit or the Braai. Okay, and here they are, somewhat ground up and buffed up with the flapper disc. Okay, so I've been trying to think of how to mount these, and I thought about welding short pegs, cutting down this to the back and then drilling the appropriate holes and back welding. But I think they might get banged up from throwing logs in and out. So what I'm going to try doing is bending the lettering to the curve, and then I think I'll drill holes through and plug weld from the back. That's my current plan anyway. The curve to the whole affair. I think that'll be the way to go. Maybe even pull them down tight and using a clamp and then tack weld them. Well, I was afraid of that. It's a pretty brittle weld, and that little tack just broke. Yeah, I think I'll make a mark at 4 inches down. I think something like that works. So if I drill a hole through, I can tack weld from behind. I may have to do a couple of tack welds on the front here and then clean them up and grind them. I think here it'll be something like that. And then if I put any welds on the front here, I think I'll need to clean them up, probably with a Dremel. So the idea is to get 3 plug welds from the back that penetrate through and weld the letters or the word to this little backer plate. Get the last one here. Well, it stayed after I took the clamp off, so that's a bit of a good sign. Okay, I'll try to tack the B on. Give them a quick clean up with the flapper disc. I think for this section, here I had where two pieces of the metal met. It's a little thicker, so there was something to weld to. But these are all just pretty much single layers. So I think I might tack weld this from the front and then clean it up with a Dremel. So for the eyes, or the dot above the eyes, I got some old 5/16 bolts. They were painted blue, but that'll change. I drilled holes. They're sticking through the back. So I'm going to take a cut-off wheel and cut the excess bolt sticking out the back. Let me flip it up. So I've got the excess bolts sticking out the back. I'll cut those off and then weld them flush, clean them up, and that will be the dots over the eyes. So there's one with the threads cut off. I'm just going to tack weld it and weld it into place. Okay. No, I need a ground. There's one. I'll cut the other two off, weld them up, and then clean it all up with the flapper disc. Okay, these other two have been cut off, and now I'll tack weld or plug weld them. Okay, buff them up with the old flapper sanding wheel. I'll clean up the top of the bolt heads a little bit and touch up what I can and call it good. Then all it needs is a coat of paint. Well, there we have it. Shimmy's Braai. It's all welded up. I'll probably do a bit of a cleanup, wipe it down with some thinner, and then give it a couple of coats of high temperature barbecue paint. Okay, for the last little bit here, I'm in the garage and it's so -5 Celsius. Winter has set in. I've got the propane radiant heater turned on, and right now the temperature on the fire pit is sitting at about -1 Celsius. So I've just got it sitting on a chart for any overspray. I'm going to wipe it down with some paint thinner and then hit it with some good old trusted quality since 1921 some Rust-Oleum barbecue high heat paint. So it'll make it look a little better and probably protect it paint wise for, oh, maybe a year or two, and then might have to redo it. Anyhow, I'll bring you back once I got the finished product and just show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got the painting done. I had shut off the heaters while I was doing the painting. I got the garage warmed up to about plus 15 Celsius. I aired it all out, and now I just have a little heater down inside, space heater warming up the inside, and the radiant heater at the back. So it didn't turn out all that bad. It's, as some would say, it's not terrible. So I'll probably let the heat cook the paint for an hour or so, and that's a wrap on that one. On to the next. Okay, hope you have a good day.
She really gets into it and starts doing flips.